All right, guys, let's work on day 2 of our videos. Start with energy pyramid. Okay, so an energy pyramid is basically a representation of how energy flows through an ecosystem. Think of it kind of as a graph or chart that helps you visually see what happens with energy. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through this picture right here because I do want you to learn about it. And then I'll help you with what you put in the answers over there, okay? So at the bottom, the largest amount of energy is obviously available. It has to be at the beginning of, let's say, a food web. Okay, so all the producers, there's going to be way more producers available in an ecosystem than, let's say, at the very top of food web. Okay, so energy is lost as you move through a food web, which makes sense. Okay, so every level, think of it as you're dividing by 10. So if you have 100 producers here, you're going to only have 10 producers here, 1 producer here, and then 0.1 here, okay, at the top. So what is an energy pyramid? It's a graphic model of energy flow in a community. Energy is lost each time one organism eats another. Because of this, there have to be many more plants than there are plant eaters, right? There are more autotrophs than heterotrophs, which are producers. Okay, producers are autotrophs. Heterotrophs are going to be the consumers. And then there's more primary consumers than secondary consumers. So just think about that. If you're in a field, you're going to see a whole lot more grass than maybe you would see bunnies. And then you would see a whole lot less snakes than you would see hawks. Okay? So how does it flow? Well, it starts with the producers. And then the primary consumers eat the producers, the secondary consumers eat the primary consumers, and then tertiary eat the secondary consumers, all right? So that's how energy flows in an ecosystem. All right. So here's some information just about different types of ecosystems, and you are going to be doing some activities next week, creating food webs and manipulating food webs and all that, okay? So a marine food web is an ecosystem in salt water. Algae and plankton are the producers. I'm trying to find them on here, y'all. No, my eyes are so... Oh, here's the plankton and then algae. I kind of wish they had a sun showing that the algae and the plankton get their energy from the sun, okay? Corals are actually considered animals, believe it or not. And we're going to answer some questions. Uh-oh, there weren't any questions. Okay, oh well, that's fine with us. Okay, terrestrial ecosystem. And this is an ecosystem on land. You could probably relate to this type of ecosystem better because we see this ecosystem in Midlothian everywhere. Plantain and berries are the producers, and remember there should be an arrow pointing to plantain and berries because they get their they get their energy from the sun. And remember, the arrows are pointing to who's receiving the energy. So the green fly is getting its energy from the berry. The grasshopper is getting its energy from the berry, okay? This kind of mouse is a bird right here. I'm sorry, this is a bird, even though it has the word mouse in it. It gets its energy from berries, okay? And then I don't think there's going to be questions on that next slide. But looking at this, you can tell that the buzzard is definitely the top of the food chain or the food web here, and they have a lot of options on where they get their energy. So buzzard's good. If say for some reason snakes all die off in that ecosystem, it still has the bird, the mouse, and the rabbit to get its energy from. So the more organisms an organism can get its energy from, the better for it, okay, in that ecosystem. All right. Alrighty, I don't think I put anything about this because you already learned about it last week. Okay, competition happens amongst organisms, as you know, and carrying capacity is the largest number of individuals of the same species that an area can support. Due to this factor, species compete with each other and other species for both biotic and abiotic factors. All right, so there's a picture of male, I think those are elk, but I could be wrong. My dad would get really mad at me if he knew I didn't know that for sure. And they're competing for a mate. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Predators. Predators, very simply, are animals that naturally prey on others. Okay? They have to hunt for their food. A cheetah is an example. Poor little whatever that is, maybe a gazelle, I don't know. But you know what? It's just a circle of life. And then prey, those are the animals that get hunted and killed by another animal for food. All right, so those are the simple definitions for those. Oh, it's a deer. Okay. Now, moving on. Symbiosis. Hold on, let me see how much it's on. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop, and we'll do this tomorrow. Okay?